folks, it's me, Peppermint, coming back at you with a brand new video. I get so many questions about my transition, about different parts of my life, and I get a lot of letters and messages from people who are trans and queer and thinking about transitioning and thinking about doing drag. So I'm going to try to address some of those people through this video that I like to call story time. This is my first one, so make sure you click like and subscribe so that you can catch the next one. So this is really kind of about generally what I have gone through since doing Drag Race. It's no secret, I'm on Drag Race right now, and I'm trans. A lot of people ask, does that mean you're transitioning, or does that mean that you are trans? I just want to add a little bit of clarity just to kind of set the stage. I consider myself transgender, and I think that all humans, all people, especially adults, we're all transitioning. No one's ever the same every day. We all are changing from day to day. So yeah, I'm transitioning, but when you reduce it to transitioning, I think what people mean when they ask, are you transitioning, that means, what are you gonna look like? What surgeries are you gonna have? What medicines are you taking? And when did you start, and when will it be finished? And I think we can't really reduce the human experience to something so finite. You're never finished changing as a human, you're never finished growing, so you're never finished transitioning. And I think at least that applies for myself. I think there's people who are happy with the way their body or their hairstyle looks, but even if you're happy with your hair, you're gonna have to you have to go and get it done, or upkeep it, or keep cutting it, or it's never finished. You know, you don't just go to the barber once and you're done. So it's pretty much the same thing. But I am gonna talk a little bit today about my transition and some of the things that I've done, some of the lessons that I've learned. Now, like I said, I've considered myself trans for many, many years, but there is a little bit of action that I decided to take in order to get myself more aligned, my body and my mind more aligned. Some medical things, some decisions that I've made medically, and then there's a lot of decisions that I made kind of just clerically and logistically. These are things that have to do with my identity, changing over your documents. A lot of that is really daunting. One of the first things that I did not do, I should say, is I did not choose a name, which sounds so crazy, but choosing a name is something that's really personal. You might decide to involve friends and family, people that love you and know you, to help you. You can certainly ask their opinion. Some people just go through baby books. Some people like throw a dart and whatever it lands on, that's their name. One thing that's really popular is a lot of people try to come up with a variation on the name they had originally, or their old name. If your name was Michael and you're transitioning you're male to female, or you are going to present as a woman, then maybe it'll be Michaela or Michaela or Michelle. I didn't really decide to go that route. I had a name that I kind of just chosen arbitrarily, that I was kind of using temporarily, and it became my permanent name, but I also have a drag name, and so people didn't know which name to call. It's so confusing, and it still is. Let me tell you, it still is confusing, even to me. But the most important thing is to choose something that you are comfortable with everyone calling you. Your family's going to take a while to adjust to that. The people that know you and know you by a different name are going to take a long time to get used to that, but stick with it. Once you have your name chosen, then it's all about the documentation. Now, you may live in a state where they're not as inclusive or they're not as supportive of trans rights and your transition. The ability to be able to change your documents and your driver's license and your birth certificate really depends on where you live. So you're gonna have to do a little bit of research, and I'm gonna include a link below that's a resource for you that you can look up and see if your state, see what you need to do in your state to get to where you need to get. But in New York, I'm lucky enough to be able to have the laws on my side in terms of changing over documents and all that stuff, but that doesn't really address the people working behind the desk, the place that you're going to go to get things done. You have to deal with people that sometimes don't really have quite a developed or even progressive idea about what it means to be trans. I've encountered a lot of frustrating things. I've encountered a lot of frustrating things in the medical system, in the medical environment world, from choosing a doctor who I think is educated enough, which is weird. I found myself in the situation educating a lot of people around me, including my healthcare providers. Anyone that you can encounter who usually should be the authority in their realm. A lot of times when it comes to trans issues, they just don't know, and they're human, and it's not really their fault necessarily. We're just in a new time where we have to educate everybody. So one of the things that I want to touch on today specifically is with doctors in general. Now, I love my doctor. They're great. I love my healthcare. I owe a lot of my medical transition to my health insurance. So I'm really thankful that I have Obamacare and that I was able to operate under the laws of New York State that are very supportive of trans-related healthcare. Now, our governor sent through a memo to all the doctors that said, if you got a trans person, you got to take care of them. Health insurance has to cover it, and your doctors have to address it and give them the medicine they need and the care that they need. But a lot of doctors didn't read the memo. One example is I decided recently to switch over to doing hormone injections. Now, that's a scary thing for anybody to have to inject yourself with medication and a needle. Most people don't like needles, so it's scary. And you want somebody that you trust that can kind of give you the right guidance and really teach you how to do it right. My doctor did a great job of teaching me how to do injections, but it's basically, she told me to do it the wrong way. I was injecting hormones, estrogen oil, or apparently any oil-based medication or injection needs to be injected intramuscularly, which means into your muscle. My doctor was coaching me to inject into your fat, into my side, my abdomen, into like my love handle. I got one. You got one too. So if you're trans, I don't want to say don't listen to your doctor, but just definitely ask questions and make sure that the way that you're injecting your hormones is going to get absorbed into your body so that your body can use them the way that they're intended to be used. I've been injecting mine the wrong way for several months, and I'm a little upset. I have to learn a whole new way of doing it. And this is just one example of a little bit of an inconvenience. You know, if you are diabetic or if you had a heart condition, your doctor wouldn't want to be telling you the wrong way to inject your medication. But somehow that I'm trans, it doesn't really seem to matter as much. And I don't want to say that my healthcare provider, it doesn't matter to her. I just think that not many people are giving doctors the tools that they really, really need to provide proper care. And it's simple. Injecting hormones is not the only method that you need to inject into your muscle. So there's other people who have to inject into their muscle too, and it's just as important. So do your research with your doctors, and if you feel like you're in a situation where you have to educate your doctor, it might be worth it, because that's a small detail, but the payoff might be great, because you want somebody who's compassionate, who's willing to learn. And my doctor is. So things are all good now. I'm injecting into the muscle now, just in case you want to know. It hurts a lot more than it does into your love handle. So that's one thing to consider when you are deciding whether or not to take pills or inject your hormones. So you can see it's kind of layered. It's a huge, long story. I've got so much more to say about my transition and about some of the choices that I made, some of the roadblocks that I've encountered, because I've encountered plenty. So make sure you click like and subscribe. For now, thanks so much for visiting me, and I'll see you soon. Click here to check out my brand new music video for Civil War, available on iTunes. And click here for my tour schedule. I got a big show this weekend, and I can't wait to meet you in person.